Hello, and a good evening to everybody. Welcome here to round 5 at Imola of the Raceface.Pro Sprint Series. As you all probably know by now, but for the newcomers to the stream, this is a 45-minute sprint race that will be taking place tonight. No pit stops. Just a bit of an introduction here. My name is Douw Gerber, and I am joined tonight again by Johann, Bago, Grobler in the commentary booth here. Bago, welcome.
Thank you, and welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us.
Good stuff. So we are in the qualifying at the moment. Still 12 minutes left here. Just want to have a quick look at what our timing stats are actually telling us, who's in where. From what I can see, I just want to actually change the overlay on the screen there so that our viewers can also see what is going on. Give me a second. I do apologize. Tonight I am streaming from a different computer, so some of the settings here still need to be set up. Just give me a second.
So while Douw is sorting out the settings, let's just have a quick recap with regards to the championship standings. So currently in first place, we've got Ryan Ottens for Hybrid Academy, followed by Gideon Renner for Kinetic Simworks Racing Vibe, and then Jason McGregor currently in third, also from Hybrid Academy. Morgan McCall's been making a charge lately, and he's up into fourth now, followed by Conrad Volskenk in fifth for Hawks Flying Squad. So in terms of team standings, we've got Ryan Ottens and Jason, for Hybrid Academy currently leading by just about 70 points from Kinetic Simworks Racing Vibe. So it'll be interesting to see tonight if Ryan and Jason can extend their gaps in both the drivers and team standings.
Good stuff. All right, Bago, we are back up and running there. As you can see, I've got the relatives and split times up there now, so our viewers can actually see the lap times as well. I see Volskenk there in pole at the moment with a 1:47.447. That's a pretty rapid time that he's set up there in the BMW. And I see Morgan McCall 2/10 off of that time, with Jason McGregor a further 2/10 down the track.
Yeah, 47.4 is really quick. And I think a while back, sort of, if you could get into the 47s, you were doing well. But it just shows you how far everybody in the Raceface League has come when we're now sitting on low 47s, which really is a quick time.
Yeah. And also, I mean, if you look at it there, Bago, currently we have the top 11 drivers separated by less than 1 second in this session so far.
Yeah, that's amazing to see. Really tight. And, I hope it hopes for a good race tonight.
Good stuff. I think let's go on board here with Justin Lotus. He's doing his hot lap at the moment. Let's have a quick look here and see what we can see. Just give our viewers a bit of a view of what the driver sees doing his lap. You want to walk us through the turns here, Bago?
Sure. So he's just heading out of the first Lesmo now, running a bit wide. Not ideal on the brakes for Lesmo too. You can take some curb there, but not too much. Careful not to run too wide on the exit. Now it's a sort of long run down to the fast chicane. Tricky this one. You want to be there's a very fine line between how aggressive you can be on the curbs. So on the brakes for Justin, take some curb on the inside. Can't take too much here. Does really well. Got to be careful here as well on the inside curb on the left. So that was really nicely done from Justin. And now it's a run down to Parabolica. You arrive there at quite a bit of speed, so important to spot your braking point, and then important as well to keep the car nice and tight and get on the power as fast as you can to maximize the long pit straight again. So decent second sector or third sector here from Justin. Interesting to see what this time will be.
Let's have a look. 1:48.217 the timing board says there.
48.2, I see his fastest is a 47.9, so still about 3/10 down from his best, but it might be his first flying lap, we don't know, so tyres might not quite be in the window yet.
And we go over to Martin Wrightenbach. So Martin obviously moved up from Pro-Am, having won the Pro-Am divisions, in the Thursday night races for quite, I think about 3 times in a row or something like that. So Martin's pretty quick, having moved up now to the Pro division on a Thursday night. So yeah, let's see how he goes on this lap. Currently in 8th position.
Yeah, Martin also a bit of he likes Monza. He's usually very fast, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. would have expected him, or maybe he hasn't nailed the lap yet, but I would have expected him to be a bit closer to the top. But let's see. Maybe he surprises us.
All right, let's see what the time is over the line here. And that is a 1:47.9. That is his fastest lap tonight so far. All right, and then moving over to Alan. I see he's on his in-lap. He's in the pits. He'll obviously restart another session now.
Yeah, Alan currently down in 11th place. Only 9/10 of Paul Skank in pole. And that 47.4 really is a good time. So to be within a second of that, not bad at all for Alan.
All right, and then we have to see Hansi going on his flyer now. This is Hansi Mayberg from Team Tryhard Racing. That is one of my teammates. Hansi and I, in Team Tryhard Racing now for a couple of years together. Let's see how he goes here.
Yeah, come on, Hansi. Let's get a good lap in there. Hansi probably one of the nicest guys in the Raceface League as well. So really nice to see him do well here tonight.
A very soft-spoken gentleman, but not so soft-spoken on the racetrack. He takes it to the guys on the racetrack. Yeah, so definitely, in terms of Hansi in person versus Hansi on the racetrack, 2 different people to a point.
Yeah, I guess you could say Hansi does his talking where it matters. Eh?
Yeah. And I just want to do a quick shout out while we're watching Hansi on this lap to all of our viewers this evening. I see we've got Beamerstein here, Sean Prinsloo, JJ McClure, Gavin Scruton. How's it going? We got Wazza Essay, Devin Allies. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Also, just if you guys can just give us some feedback there on the chat, if the sound levels are okay, car's not too loud, not too soft, and if you can hear Bago and I clearly, if you can just give us some feedback, that we'd appreciate it. And also remember, if you're here for the first time tonight, please click on that subscribe button. And also drop us a like there, please. It does help us on the YouTube algorithms. Bago, Daniel is not joining us this evening. Is he already down? Obviously, I mean, he stays down in pole. Is he already at the racetrack for this weekend's races? Are they busy there with pre-race preparations for this weekend's racing?
I am not quite sure if he's at the track already. I kind of doubt it. I think probably only from tomorrow or Friday at the latest.
Okay.
But knowing Daniel, I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing some sort of
prep work for it. Yeah.
Prep already. Yeah.
Okay. And Bago, do you want to? I mean, you and Daniel are good mates. You guys obviously in the same racing team. Tell us a little bit more about what he's doing this Saturday, and if our viewers want to go and support their fellow sim racers in the real life, give us some information there as to what's happening at Killarney.
Yeah, sure. So we've got the National GT3 Championship running this weekend here in Cape Town at Killarney. So Daniel, of course, drives for VW Motorsport. So he'll be piloting one of the Golf 8 GTIs in the GT3 category this weekend. So anybody in Cape Town in the area want to head down to the track, see some good racing, and then get to meet a few of the local guys involved with the Raceface, because I think quite a few of us are going to be there as well. Head on down, come say hi, have a chat, and it'll be nice to meet some of you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think entry fees are quite low as well. From what I understood, it was about 100 Rand, I think, for adults, and then kids are about $50 as far as I remember seeing. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I think $100 per adult. Kids under 12 are free. That's sort of where my knowledge ends with
Yes.
the kids, because mine are both under 12. So, but I think 13 to 16, I think is $50. Yeah, so not much at all.
Yeah, so if you guys are looking to have a good day out, hopefully the weather will play with in Cape Town this weekend. But if you and your families are looking for a good day out, hop off and go on there to Killarney racetrack and go see some of your fellow sim racers in real live action there. I mean, I know Jonathan Machotzi has also raced here with us a few times in the past, and he's obviously co-piloting that car with Daniel. So yeah, and then I'm sure there'll be a few other guys possibly in the Polo Cup series that, you know, names that will be familiar to the viewers there. So yeah, if you want to go see how these guys do it in real life, make your way to Killarney this weekend. All right, so with less than 3 minutes to go in qualifying, we still have Volkskenk there in pole position, Morgan McCall on P2, and Mac van der Merwe in P3.
Yeah, so Mac and Gideon both, they are the KSR Vibe team, so strong showing from them with regards to the team championship, with Jason and Ryan in 5th and 6th. So for them, they can take some points. It looks like they might be able to take some points out of the hybrid boys tonight, and then Morgan continuing his charge. And, you know, he's up to 2nd now, just a 10th off Volkskenk. So looks like this is going to be a really good race. Hopefully, you know, the guys can keep it clean into turn 1. And everybody can settle into their rhythm, and we can have some good racing tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. I always find it's quite difficult, Bago, to do commentary on qualifying, you know, because once, you know, by this time of qualifying, generally the positions are set. And I personally run out of things to say during qualifying by this time. So, you know, I think, you know, it's pretty much set where the guys are going to be on the grid now. Have a look a little bit lower down there in terms of it is Tinus Bertus there right at the back as per normal. Always, you know, coming in late for qualifying, as we always said, he's always busy getting something up before the race. So, generally comes in here late and then does a very good lap right before the end. So let's maybe have a look. I see he's there on his out lap. Let's have a look at what Bertus is able to pull out of the bag here.
Yeah, Bertus is one of those guys that generally tends to go forward once the race starts.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really go back much from where he usually starts, but nonetheless he tends to go forward.
Yeah, there's only one way, and that's up from 20th, yeah, right?
Exactly. But yeah, just to get back to your point about the qualifying and commentary, I think it's probably one area where ACC for me is a bit lacking, in that, you know, if we sort of had access to all the drivers' delta times, and we could see guys that are on quick laps and that sort of thing, and pick that up, and it would sort of give us a lot more to talk to. But unfortunately, you know, we're quite limited in that regard, so we can't really be proactive. We just have to sort of react to what you as the viewer is seeing on screen. You know, we don't have any more info than that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I mean, on that point, Bago, I mean, it's obviously from the broadcasting side of things, I've got the tool here to, you know, move between the different drivers and things, and that obviously shows us a little bit more in terms of deltas and things like that. It's just you know, I was saying last week, I equate myself to Crofty in the Formula 1 side, and you as Martin Brundle. You can definitely hear who's the more experienced and stats orientated person between the two of us. I'm the guy that typically asks the dumb questions, and then, you know, you have to be polite and answer them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I being called Martin, or sort of compared to Martin Brundle, is I think very, very flattering. I wouldn't consider myself anywhere near that, but yeah, I think we make a good team, and hopefully the viewers enjoy what we put together for them.
Yep, let's see. All right, so that's qualifying over. There's a couple of guys. Daniel de Villiers is still out on track. He's going to wrap up his lap now. And then I see Morgan McCall is also, he's finishing up, and he's up 3/10, it looks. Right, in the death throws, he's going to be putting in a quicker one. Have a look there.
And he goes pole.
Yep, there we go.
47.2.
Right
lap
at
from
the
Morgan.
end. Good lap, Morgan.
can't help but think that Mr. Forskank will be a little bit disappointed because he said that time pretty early on in quali session. He was already on that 47.4 when we joined, so
Yeah.
I think he would have backed himself to go a bit quicker. But a great lap from Morgan nonetheless to stick that Merc on pole.
Right. Let's have a quick look at the timetables here. You want to walk us through these timetables, Bago?
Yeah, so we got obviously Morgan McCall now in pole position with a 47.3. Great time from Morgs. Mr. Forskank second position with a 47.4. Fastest final sector, so that could bode well for the race because he can get a good run on Morgan maybe and get in the slipstream and set up a pass. And then Macfin and Merva and Gideon Renner, the two KSR Vibe guys, in third and fourth. And then Jason and Ryan, Hybrid Academy boys, fifth and sixth. Jason will be super chuffed that he pipped Ryan there, that's for sure. And then Jason Lotus, the third hybrid driver, in seventh position. Martin Rautenbach, our sort of Monza expert, in eighth place, and then Mr. Nkube, ninth, also in the BMW, and then Conrad Volskenk in the first of the McLarens, rounding out the top 10 there for us.
Great. Now, I want to actually go back here to drive side of things and see if we can do a bit of a little bit of a flyover and just show the guys their liveries and like that as well.
That would be very nice.
I need to be chatting to Alan Patterson about this because I'm looking at it now and there we go. Now we actually see what I can actually get going here for us. Sorry everybody, this is only my second time with Bago doing this, so figuring things out as we go along.
Yeah, I think I might, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Alan might use the free cam and then a controller of some sort.
You can use the mouse on that as well. It's just I'm struggling at the moment to get it into this view. That's the view I was looking for.
Aha.
And let's go back on the cam here. Go. There we go. Yeah. All right. With 1 minute left, let's do a nice little flyover here of grid.
Yeah, nice to see. ATK seems to have updated their livery finally, and then the PWSR car is looking great as ever. And the KSR boys, nice color schemes going there, and then the Ping Hybrid Academy cars representing their sponsors there, also looking nice. Oh, Justin's got a new livery on his, I can see. Looking good there, Bats. And then the Hawks
Polizia
liveries. Yeah, there we go. Very nice guys. Mr. Daniel de Villiers there in his purple Godzilla. And then here we go. We get to the TTH boys now. Looking good there, looking good.
Right.
Oh, one of the few Lambos on the grid I see there.
3 seconds to go. Everybody, yeah.
And there we go, Mr. Bertus.
That concludes our grid walk for the evening. I think that went pretty well.
Oh, Bertus doing pretty well, not in last. So you'll be pretty chuffed with that, I think.
Get this back.
Oh, Gideon Renner, was he not in fourth in quali? I see him right at the back of the grid now.
Yeah, see, he's actually in the pit lane now. I think he might
possibly, I forgot to click drive.
Yeah, that's all I can think, Bago.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
Not at all.
Well, I think on the upside for him, relatively small grid tonight and passing definitely possible at Monza, so you should be able to make his way up the field.
Yeah, and obviously turn 1 on Monza, notorious for incidents. So possibly starting from the pits may not be a bad strategy.
Yeah, exactly. He might just find himself in the top 10 by the time he heads into turn 2. So we can see the guys weaving around now trying to get some heat into the tires. I'm not too sure how much that actually does in ACC, the weaving. So I've just found that sort of just working that brake pedal is sort of the best way to get the heat into the tires. But you can see it looks good on the camera nonetheless.
It does, yes. I mean, one point someone said to me that, you know, with the whole swerving thing, you need to actually be careful not get graining on the tires. Is that true?
I think if you overdo it, then certainly that can happen. So ACC tends to kind of get graining very easily when the tires aren't up to temp and up to pressure. So, and of course, when the cars leave the grid, those tire pressures are relatively low and temps are low.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Okay. The strategy of acceleration and braking and driving on the brake itself a little bit, that's probably a better way to do it, right?
I prefer it personally because you also get deep into the brakes, and if you're looking at turn 1, especially on a track like Monza, you don't want to be heading into turn 1 on the first lap with ice cold brakes. So you know, important to get the temp into the brakes, just as important as getting the temp into the tires, in my opinion. So yeah,
absolutely. I'm really excited for this race. Monza being one of my favorite tracks, got the name of as you know, the Temple of Speed. So yeah, I love these high speed tracks, you know, where there's not too many little kinks and turns and things to slow the guys down. I personally think high speed tracks test the drivers quite heavily in terms of, you know, precision driving and things like that. Obviously technical tracks like a Kyalami with lots of turns and that, you know, also tests the driver. But I tend to find that the faster tracks are more exciting to watch for the viewers, but also, you know, in my opinion, definitely tests the driver's timing skills in terms of hitting corners and things like that. What is your thoughts on that, Bago?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the sort of penalty for being offline on a track like Monza and the high-speed stuff, I think, is a bit bigger than missing an apex by half a meter or so on a really slow-speed corner. So, yeah, for sure, I agree with you there. Yeah, and also I think it's just more fun to drive, you know, going fast all the time. So I think it makes, Monza certainly makes for good racing with plenty of opportunity to slipstream and to get passes done on the brakes, and then it also makes for good viewing. So I think we are in for a entertaining evening.
All right, let's go and have a look at what happens as they line up now to a stern, getting close to getting to start to the green light.
It's going to be interesting to see if these BMWs can stick with this Merc on the start. That Merc is lightning fast out the blocks, and Morgan is one of the better starters, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Green light, go go go.
And away they go.
So not a lot of shuffling happening as they get down to turn 1, which is kind of weird to see. Usually the guys are all over the place fighting for position. Morgan seems to have just got away well enough, and he's hanging on to that inside line, and he'll surely. Well, I say surely, but a bit of contact there.
Wolfskenk has got the inside there, a little bit of door banging going on there.
Yeah, neither driver willing to give an inch there, and good to see that they make it through side by side. And now it's a drag race down into the second chicane, and Wolfskenk with the inside line now at this point. I think he's done enough to probably pip Morgan on the brakes here.
Oh, yeah, and that Morgan getting a bit out of shape there under braking. Obviously running quite a heavy rear brake bias there. I mean, he was snaking into that heavy braking area there.
Yeah, so Wolfskenk getting the pass done brilliantly there, and Morgan, as you say, car looked a bit nervous on the brake, but probably because of a little bit of contact, but that was all fair. Yeah. So good driving from both of them as Morgan now fighting back, and he's right in the slipstream here, and he's definitely going to have a look now. Yeah. Well, now he has got to commit to the outside, not really where he wants to be. The
Scary chicane is not generally a good passing area, and now Mac van der Merwe is also getting involved in this little tussle here. So he's going to be waiting and being ready to pounce if these guys make mistakes in the front there.
Yeah. So Wolfskenk is doing everything right at the moment. He's positioning that car brilliantly. Morgan seems to get the run out of the corners and then the benefit of that slipstream, but Wolfskenk is just positioning that car exactly where he needs to, and there's nothing really Morgan can do about it.
Now we've got Mac also in that slipstream.
Yeah, Mac now having a big look down the inside, and Morgan's a bit boxed in here, and this can get quite airy.
Exciting stuff here on the first lap. All right, so Morgan
brilliant,
back in there.
move.
Good move, Morgan. That was well done. Let's see if he can hold this position. The BMWs are breathing down his neck there. And let's see how this Mercedes, performs under the brakes into this area again.
Yeah, again, Volkswagen now having to commit to the outside, and I don't think he's gonna. Oh, he's having a look.
Wow.
Brilliant driving from the guys here.
Good driving, yeah, and it's good, fair, hard racing,
and
which
look
is
at
what we
Mac.
enjoy.
Phenomenal now on the inside going into Lesmo 1 of Volkswagen, and he's now taken second from Morgan. This is unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. Such good racing at the moment, yeah.
Oh, and look at that. We've now got Jason McGregor getting involved as well.
It's turning into a little four-way battle, yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Let's see if these guys can hold it together here through the Qashqai. So far, so good. Oh, and there we have our first incident happening there at the back.
Yeah, I think that was Jason and Gube.
Let's have a quick look at that just from a replay perspective. That seems to have been a bit of contact there going through exit of Ascari possibly.
Yeah, it looks like it. Unfortunate, the racing was so good up until then. But Volkswagen now back into first. Morgan breathing down his neck again. 2/10 delta and Morgan catching. Look at that. Pulls to the outside. Again, Volkswagen just positioning that car really, really well. McFinney-Marvis just losing a bit of touch there in third position, but if Morgan and Volkswagen get stuck into one another again, I'm sure Mac is going to be right up there.
Yeah, and one of our viewers commenting here, Weza SA, commenting that the leaders battling hard makes the midfield able to join the battle, and I think that's very true. As long as these three guys are going to be battling, that's going to keep the pack nice and tight during the first parts of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got Justin Lotus in fourth position at the moment, 2.4 seconds back, but I think he might have been slowed down a bit by that contact from Jason McGregor and Kube, and then Ryan Ottens as well. He's generally very quick, so if these guys continue fighting, I'd expect to see a five car train forming before too long.
Yep. Okay. Volkswagen going a little wide there on the exit of Ascari. Managing to keep it together. Run. Morgan's got the run on him, yeah.
But again, Volkswagen goes inside, goes defensive. It's going to be difficult for Morgan to get the drive around the outside. As you can see, Volkswagen just easily gets on the power earlier.
And it's amazing, Bago, how the different tracks, give us different racing. I mean, last week's race, Morgan literally just ran away with it from the start, I think by the third lap, he was already 10 seconds or something ahead, So, this ones are delivering again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just the nature of the circuit. It's a lot easier to keep in touch on Monza. And contact there from Mac on Morgan.
Morgan. Not keeping the car static, ideal. Unfortunately.
Not ideal.
I think Morgan should have remained on the brakes then during that little incident. We can go back and have a look at that incident again.
Yeah, seems like McFinney just got up on his inside and gave him a tap there on the left rear.
Have a look, yeah. It looks like Morgan had lost the car a little bit there, and obviously Mac was just gaining too quickly on him. Unfortunate about that secondary incident there, unfortunately, as well then.
Yeah, it almost looks like Morgan sort of sacrificed a bit of apex speed in the middle to try and get a better exit and try and come back at Gerber into the next chicane, but unfortunately that caught Mac out, as you say.
Yeah, and Morgan losing, it's early in the race, and as we've mentioned, the pack is still close together. Morgan losing 13 positions there in that. Let's go back to the front here and just see. So I think Volkswagen is going to consolidate this lead now. I mean, obviously, he's got that gap, and I think he's going to now just put his head down and put in the laps.
Big winner out of all of this is definitely Forsking, because he's now got a, what is it, almost a 2.6 second gap to second place Mac van der Merwe, and Mac should have a bit of front aero damage as well, so I'm not thinking that he's going to be all that strong, you know, coming out of Parabolica, and that really does impact your ability to overtake on Monza, because if you can't follow closely and get a good run out of Parabolica, then sort of the main overtaking place, which is turn 1, becomes totally not an option for you. So it's going to be a long race for Mac, I think.
Here we go. There's another little battle developing here between Martin Wrightenbach, third class Hagen, and Arnold de Villiers and the guys.
3 wide there.
Yeah.
The guys hung Martin out to dry a bit there on the inside. But well done, they got through it. Good driving. I also see Tina Inakube's got a stop go 30, so not altogether sure what that is for, but he is in the pits, so I think he maybe in effect has retired the car.
Yeah, that may have been a false start. You know, he obviously might have jumped the start or something out of position. All I can think at this stage.
Yeah, I might have been. I don't recall him having a penalty at race starter, so I'm wondering after that crash if he didn't maybe speed into pit lane and
speed into the pits.
To park it. Unfortunately, he was also running really well.
Right. And then we have another tight battle developing here, I think. Just want to have a quick look at the...
Yeah, we've got a nice train forming here, all the way from sort of Dos Santos, McCall, Bertesichu, Dan Stewart, and then John LaRue and Jason Luck. So these guys will be having a good time. Always find winning is nice, but you know, racing
is fun.
Racing is a bit more fun than being out in front on your own. Well, I'm sure Volskenk, after the week he had last week, he'll probably disagree with me. I think he's enjoying his bit of quiet time in the lead there.
We have a comment here in the chat that says defensive driving is a thing of the past, from JJ McClure. I don't understand what the comment is around, but I mean, Bago, in terms of, you know, people saying that obviously when you're on a public road, we get taught to do defensive driving. You know, that you should always be taking a defensive posture on public roads. But I guess in racing it's slightly different, right? I mean, we're racing.
Yes, it's very different. I think even when you, as we say, go defensive, you still do it aggressively. So yeah, definitely not the same as what we get taught for driving on the public roads.
Yeah. Okay, let's just go back there to the leaders and just see. Yeah, the gap is nice and big here for Volskenk. He's comfortably in the lead here now. 2.6 seconds ahead there of Mac.
The Mac actually managing to maintain that gap, so you know, hopefully for him that front end aero damage not as bad as I initially thought.
Yeah, in the back we've also got Justin Lotus in third position currently.
Yeah, seems like Ryan is
sorry,
actually
excuse me, I mean
past...
Ryan Ottens. I beg your pardon, it's Ryan Ottens in third.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if Ryan can now start closing this gap down. I don't think Ryan sort of showed his potential in qualifying, so to speak. So hopefully it's his strap during the race, and then he can start closing these guys down. And true to form, Mr. Bertesichu up to 14th position.
Yep, making his way through the pack as per normal.
Yeah.
Let's have a look here. Justin being chased hard here by Arnold de Villiers in the Nissan. Nissan strong car here in Monza.
It is. I drove the Nissan in a 3-hour solo endurance event that we had. Yes, and it was actually a joy to drive around here. So yeah, nice to see Daniel de Villiers running.
It gives you a lot of confidence around this track, the Nissan.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty quick, you know, down the straights, and it handles the curbs pretty well through a Scori. So, yep, nice car in Monza.
I have to say that I notice on Justin Lotus's car, you know, on the nose, there's quite a bit of damage there. So he's obviously had some rubbing happening as well during the first parts of this race.
Yeah, it does look like he's carrying a bit of damage, and well, any damage, aero damage on Monza really is not ideal, but especially front end because of the high-speed nature of the track. You know, if you start understeering, you just have to scrub off so much speed in the high-speed corners that it just kills your lap time completely.
Yeah. I'm going to stay with this with these two drivers, but there at the back you can see there's also a little battle developing there with Kurt Klaashagen, and let's see if Daniel can make this pass stick. There's the understeer that you're talking about, Bago.
Very, very wide from Justin there, and a bit lucky because hitting that big yellow curb on the outside, I've seen quite a few guys lose it after hitting that curb. So
that's usually death. Yeah.
Daniel getting a good run here, and I think unless Justin goes defensive, which he doesn't, Daniel's going to get this done into turn 1.
Yeah, that's the pass done, and I think with the damage that Justin's carrying, I think Daniel's just going to run away from him now.
Yeah, I would expect that. So Justin not really putting up a fight, so I think he probably does have some damage in that car, and he's now just going to try and sort of stay out of trouble and maximize his own pace and hope he ends up in a decent position.
And as we jump here to 9th place, which is currently held by Alan Patterson. He's being chased by Morgan. Morgan has already made up 4 positions again, coming back from 14th position.
Yeah, Morgan will definitely be making his way back up towards the front. We don't quite know about how bad the damage is on that car. I think sort of the first tap from Mac wouldn't have been that bad, but the second contact looked like it was a bit more of a bigger hit. So,
although it was on the side of the car, we hope it didn't affect the aero too much there.
Yeah, look, we hope so. It's hard to tell, but yeah, Morgan definitely fighting his way back.
It seems like that Merc is still running nice and fast.
Yeah, no, definitely. So much grunt in that Merc. It's also, I think, a joy to drive on Monza. Although I've heard it can get pretty sketchy through Ascari, but I haven't driven it myself, so not too sure. But certainly has all the power down the straights.
Jump here to Martin Wrightenbach. There's this little 3-way battle here between Conrad Volschkenk, Martin, and Kurt Klaashagen. See what happens here. I saw in the previous lap at the back end, I saw them coming into the first chicane quite close to each other, so let's see.
Yeah, that Lambo is pretty decent on the straight here, so Martin will need to get a good exit and get into that slipstream nice and early. He's trying, but Kurt can match him on the brakes. Good driving from both.
Very good driving from both. I was just about to say that was good, respectful driving between those two.
Yeah, Martin seeing he's not going to get it done and just pulling out of that move. Good to see. A lot of other guys might have tried to keep a nose in there and ended up making contact. Yeah, Martin just having a look again, just saying, I'm still here. Just playing the mind games, trying to put Kurt under pressure, again, hoping he makes a mistake.
With this little battle here, now again the pack is at the back of them is catching up, and it's forming a nice little train here again.
Yeah, we see Conrad Volschkenk now arriving on the back of this, and he's bringing Morgan with him, so this could get very entertaining pretty soon. Oh, Martin getting a good run here on the way down to Ascari. Not really a place you'd want to try and overtake.
Right, so we've just got Robert McCall. That's Morgan's dad. Robert, welcome to the stream, and nice to have you here. Robert saying he's carrying 15 seconds damage at the moment. Okay.
15 seconds, yeah, that's quite a lot. I think he's having a look here, Morgan on Volschkenk.
Yeah, makes that pass stick
and gets it done.
See if he can keep it though, because of the understeer obviously an exit.
Volschkenk will try and get in that slipstream and have a look back at him down into turn 1, but Morgan immediately goes defensive and he'll cover this off. All the experience in the world in that Mercedes.
Yep. And that experience paired with performance in that V8 engine in the front of that Merc makes it a potent mixture.
Yeah, makes him a difficult customer to pass. Definitely.
Right.
So Morgan now into 8th place, free of Volskink, and I think he'll be on the back of this Wrightenbach Glashagen battle before too long.
I'm going to go a little bit back. I just want to see, because I did see guys here at the back also. Here we go. There. I have to see being chased by three cars. We've got Dane Stewart, Jean Leroux, and who else is there? Jason McGregor. I see there at the back, I think. Have a look.
Yeah, Jason, of course, involved in that earlier incident. So unfortunate to see him down there.
And I think it was Renner. Oh, there we have someone going off there.
Yeah, that's a PWSR car. I think that's Dos Santos.
Oh, that it has to be. So let's go back. Have a look at that replay there. To what happened.
Let's have a look.
This is going him through the first Lesmo. Oh, it wasn't him. It was actually the other car there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my word. Okay. Oh.
Who is that? Alan Patterson.
Was it Alan? Okay.
I'm not too sure.
It must have been. It's the only guy I've got here from WSR, I think, towards the back now.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Volskink up front also in the PWSR, but yeah, Alan now down in 15th place, so I think it was Alan.
I wonder if we could be able to see that on a replay. If we, oh, it is Alan. That, he lost it badly there. Obviously trying to make that rejoin as safe as possible, but you know the Lesmos are the worst place to have offs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the problem there is the guys coming through Lesmo. You're so committed to the line, you know, that you sort of pick on entry, that if you run into somebody on exit on the outside of the track, you can't really respond to that at that point.
Okay, so let's have a look at the deltas and see where we can find more action for our viewers. There's Conrad. He was obviously, I think it might have been Conrad that was, oh no, he's in 9th, so it was the other.
The roof.
Yeah. Just having a look at our timing boards have also disappeared. See if we can get that back on the screen. There we go. It was the other Hawks driver, I think, that was involved there.
Yeah, probably John LaRue down in 19th now, so unfortunate for him. Nkubi is back on track, back circulating. So he served his stop go 30.
Tinus Witter from Team Tryout Racing as well, you're in 18th place. Seems to be struggling a little bit tonight for pace in the McLaren. How is the McLaren on Monza? Bago, is it a okay car?
That is a good question. I think the only time I drove the McLaren on Monza was in a wet race, so I'm not 100% sure, but the McLaren generally is pretty good everywhere. And I've seen Tariq Adam do some blistering lap times in the McLaren around Monza, so I would assume it's decent.
Yeah. Team Mac is currently holding the fastest lap of the race so far.
Seems that
see
way.
how he's going, so he's obviously going quite nice and fast, and he has closed the gap quite considerably by about a second since we last checked in on them.
He has, yes. This gap was about 2.6 seconds down now to 1.5, so he's definitely gaining on Volskink. Odd to say, maybe Volskink is just sort of managing the gap and not taking too much out of his tires, but we'll see soon enough if he responds, I guess.
Yeah. On the statistics, it's saying in the last lap he was 5/10ths quicker on that lap than Volskink. In the previous lap, yeah.
So
we'll see. Obviously, when they go over the start-finish now, we'll get another update on that again.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on that. Although it does seem like Volskink has responded a little bit, so that gap already back up to 1.7 now.
Or maybe Volskink had a bit of a moment at some point at previous lap.
Possible. So
this time as they go over the line, now that lap times are pretty equal, so I'm pretty sure Volskink had a bit of a moment in that previous lap, yeah.
Yeah, very possible. So Ryan Otten's about 8 seconds off second place now, so it doesn't seem like he's got the pace tonight to get involved.
Let's go back to Morgan here again. Now got 5th position in his sights. And this is just an amazing comeback drive, Bago, considering what happened there in the very early stages of the race. Coming back from 14th now to actually take 5th place. This is really amazing.
Absolutely, and you know, sprint race, not the longest race, only 45 minutes, so to make a good comeback takes some doing, that's for sure. But Morgan's getting it done, gets past Justin there with no drama, and he'll now set off in pursuit of Daniel de Villiers in the Nissan. So I think the gap is about 3 seconds, so that's 3.3 seconds. So
more than enough time to make that up at the current pace that he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if I look at the timing sheets here, he's currently 1.5 seconds quicker than Daniel de Villiers and Ryan Ottens. So, in fact, he might even be challenging for 3rd place here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, eh? I would not be surprised. Yeah, if he can, it's going to depend on how quickly he can sort of get past Daniel de Villiers. So, probably another 2 laps before he gets to him. Yes. And if you can get past him fairly quickly, then he should be... Well, he should be almost right with Ryan with about 10 minutes to go, I would think.
Yeah.
So definitely still an opportunity for him to get back on the podium.
Jump here to Martin Wrightenbach, E7. He's also now got Justin in his sights. Justin Lotes is really struggling with that damage to the front of that BMW at the moment.
Yeah, shame Justin's having a rough time at the moment. Definitely some understeer in that car right now.
I think besides the understeer, you know, obviously ACC doesn't have the, I would say, the damage physics that you find on other simulators. So that, you know, there's a good possibility that he's also, you know, got extra drag now down the straights in terms of aero damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you just look at what we're seeing here now with Martin just driving around him, it does seem, you know, same car. Yeah. So it does seem like he's definitely giving away.
He's probably 5 to 7 kilometers per hour slower at the moment down the main straight.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, Morgan now has actually taken the fastest lap of the race, so he is on a proper charge.
He's pushing. Right, let's go here to Dean Kabasa, 10th place. Look at him.
Yeah. Dean in a nice little sandwich here with Conrad Volskenk and Dos Santos behind him. Oof, very wide there from Dos Santos.
Maybe we can go a little bit on cockpit here with Dean. Let's follow, give our viewers an on-board view within the BMW of what the drivers are seeing.
Just see Dean in the BMW, sort of the front engine cars. You can just be that little bit more aggressive over the curbs through Ascari. So you saw the difference in line that Dean took compared to what Volskenk took. You can see Volskenk not as willing to put that McLaren on the curbs as Kabasa is with the BMW.
The BMW, yeah. Now, the couple of times I've taken the BMW around some of the tracks, it's really compliant, you know, over curbs. I mean, even in last week's race on Imola, I took the BMW for a few laps around there. And, I mean, on that chicane, the chicane on Imola at the back of the track, it just climbs those curbs. It just literally drives right over them. So it's really a good car if you're a driver that enjoys riding curbs.
It is definitely. It's a good car all around. But yeah, as you say, I followed the BMW around for a couple of laps in practice on Imola, and as you say, I mean, I was in the Aston Martin, which isn't the worst over the curbs either, but he could just glide over them.
Yeah. On board now with Morgan McCall, hunting down Daniel de Villiers here. He's in every inch of that track.
Yeah, I was just about to say, for everybody at home watching, if you want a good visualization or sort of crash course in maximizing circuit, then this is it right here. You can see Morgan right on the edge of the track before turning in, and then using as much curb as he possibly can just to get that best possible lines, and again maximizing his exit there. And that's really where you find those extra tenths, eh?
Yeah. It's always a discussion I have with the guys, you know. Slower drivers, if I can say, you know, I fall in that pro-am kind of class of driver. You always wonder, how is it, you know, that these guys are 2 seconds a lap quicker than us, you know, and it's exactly what you're saying, Bago. It's those little inches here and there on the exits and entries to corners, you know, that give you those little tenths, or even a half a tenth every time, that start adding up over a couple of laps, you know, and just gives them that edge.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you look at something like Motex or Hot Laps at IO, and you look at the telemetry, and you look at braking points and that sort of thing, and then you think to yourself, but how? Because I'm braking at the same points as these oaks, and you know, I seem to be doing everything right, but I'm just slower. And really, you know, it's when you start looking a bit deeper and you start seeing these type of things that you start understanding where that lap time is coming from. Morgan gonna have a big look here into Lesmo 1.
Dangerous, but he's made it. That's a full send that we had there, but seems to make
a little correction there.
Lucky.
Yeah, lucky that De Villiers.
We can have a quick look at that pass there again on a replay. I'd like to actually see that pass from a different angle. We were on board there. Yep, already putting quite a lot of pressure on De Villiers.
Yeah, De Villiers having to go defensive.
Not such good drive there out of that corner from De Villiers, I think, and that's what gave Morgan that opportunity there.
Oof. A little bit of a love tap from De Villiers there as they turn into the apex. Yeah, De Villiers had to go defensive into the previous chicane, which was always going to mean that Morgan was going to get the better drive into Lesmo 1. So well set up there by Morgan and well executed.
Absolutely. Alright, so let's have a look at the timings now. Obviously his lap times might be a little bit off now because of the pass he did there, but let's have a look how he compares to Ryan Otten's. That was a 49.4. Otten's doing a 49 flat, so I think on the next lap we'll probably get a more realistic indication of the lap times between the two drivers there to ascertain. 15 minutes left. What's that, a 7-second gap there, Bago? I think it's possible. He's going to challenge for third year towards the end of the race.
Definitely possible. I think we'll see Morgan probably back into the 48s on this lap. So I think half a second a lap, maybe realistically. So what will he need? He'll need, what, about 14
laps?
Might just going to be tough.
It's going to be tight.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
If Ottens makes 1 or 2 mistakes, then it could be on, I think. But yeah, like you said, I think it could be tough if Ottens can just keep it clean on his side.
Yeah, absolutely. Also the race not really long enough for tire wear and those sort of things to start taking effect, so I wouldn't expect big moment there for
Yo. That was a proper code brown, I think, that Morgan had there.
Young onto that well. I think it looks a bit more spectacular and dramatic from outside the car than it probably was for him.
Right, and Mac van der Merwe getting close here to Volkskenk. I mean, this might be a battle that we'd see develop now before the end of the race. Let's have a look at these lap times quickly as they cross the start-finish.
Yeah, he's sort of in that window, isn't he?
Mac van der Merwe 8 tenths on that lap, faster than Volkskenk.
Sure, yeah, you can see he's visibly a lot closer now. But yeah, he's just in that window now where Volkskenk will be aware of him, and he's close enough for Volkskenk to know, you know, one small mistake, and he's gonna have Mac right on his rear bumper. So even though the pressure isn't being applied directly at this point, the pressure is still there. Yeah,
definitely. I know when I'm driving, if I'm watching my relatives, it's probably a bad thing to do, but I am watching my relatives always very closely, and I don't, you know, even if the guy is two corners behind you, but you see he's on the lap close to half a second, that pressure comes. You know, immediately, you know, now you got to start pushing because this guy's, you know, he's closing you, you know, half a second a lap. It's going to be with you soon. So it definitely adds a lot of pressure, even if it's like you say that the guy's not right behind you. Psychologically, you can see that he's catching.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like in many sports we talk about scoreboard pressure, and I think this is sort of what it boils
This is a
down
good
to.
example of it in motorsports. Yes.
Exactly. So you just have that visual representation of how this guy is catching you on your delta, and that starts playing on your mind, even though he's a second and a half behind you. So,
Yeah.
and then the pressure starts building, and then one small mistake, and then it just starts snowballing, really.
I guess that's something that's a bit different in sim racing to real world racing, is that, in real world racing, the guy will obviously get an update from his race engineer, probably when he passes the pits from the pit boards and things like that, but it's not that constant in your face delta thing sitting here in the bottom screen, like it's probably a little bit easier for a real world driver to just focus on what's going on in front of him, and his race engineer telling him maybe once a lap, that okay, this is the gap, but not all the time. That's just what I've seen myself in real world racing, watching Le Mans and those kind of things. Often the driver will actually tell the race engineer to just shut up if he's getting too many updates.
Yeah, a bit of a gimme, but yeah, I think so. I think also the real world drivers, they sort of they don't have the opportunity to sit and stare at deltas the whole time like we do in the sim. So but I think they also understand, how to apply pressure and how to deal with pressure probably a lot better than we do as sim racers. So I think they probably avoid information that's sort of not essential at any point in time.
Sure.
Well, not avoid, but don't tell me unless I need to know when the pressure is on, sort of thing.
Yeah. And with 10 minutes left in this race, I think I'd like to just again, just tell the viewers, guys, this weekend racing in Cape Town at Killarney. It's the National GTC series that's taking place there. Why don't you, if you're in Cape Town, pop in there over on Saturday, go and have some, take your braai and stuff with you, make it a family day outing. And if you, go do the pit walk, and you guys can actually pop in there to Volkswagen Motorsports and go and say how's it to Jonathan Mokotsi and Daniel Rowe. And I'm pretty sure the guys would be happy to, meet some of their fellow sim racers that they race against every week virtually. I'm sure they'll be quite happy to meet you guys in the flesh as well. So yeah, make your way over there and go and support the guys there from Volkswagen Motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just the opportunity to actually get out in person and go see some proper race cars in person again, after the couple of years we've had.
Yeah,
I know I'm not missing it for the world, so please see some of you guys there.
There you go. So yeah, for the rest of you listening, Johann will be there, Bago will be there as well. So make it a Raceface meetup and greet there for the Cape Town guys.
Now we see Mac Van Marven now just a second behind Force King, so he's definitely catching, and this could be quite tasty come the end of this race.
He was 2/10 in that previous lap again, quicker than Force King.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Force King is really struggling anyway, so car looks good.
Mac is just putting in superb laps.
Yeah, it seems that way. And then we've got Morgan 5.2 behind Ryan now, so yeah, I don't think he's quite gonna get there. Unfortunately,
it's gonna be very close towards the end, but unless Ryan makes a mistake, I think it's gonna be quite difficult for him to grab that podium.
Yeah, although having said that, Morgan's last lap of 47.8, so that is very fast.
That's moving at this late stage of the race.
Yeah, so let's keep an eye on that. I mean, if this comes down to 4.5, let's say, by the end of this lap, and maybe 3 points, whatever, at the end of the next lap, then he definitely will still be in with a shout for that third position.
And just again, they're mentioning a Bago that camera angle, the amount of track that Morgan utilizes in terms of his exits and entries. It's actually, that you mentioned it, it's quite obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something you'll see from all the really fast guys is not only do they maximize the track, but they do so consistently. It's it really gives you an appreciation for how good they actually are.
As we jump here to Daniel de Villiers, who's now under pressure from Martin Wrightenbach.
He's going to try
Ooh.
around the outside.
Oh, okay, the switchback. Donald trying to get that switchback, but I think Martin might have made that stick.
Well done, gents. You've done better than Lewis and Max did there. So,
Yes. Let's see how they go
well
into this.
done.
Let's see how it ends into this chicane over here.
Yeah, Daniel now having a big.
Martin
Yeah,
having-
Daniel just. I think Daniel
Oh.
just tagged the back of that BMW there, and
Right,
that is
good.
a big shunt for Martin. That
go back.
is race ending, I think.
Yeah. Let's have a look at that again.
Yeah, they were playing sort of cat and mouse with the slipstream there, and I think Daniel just got too close and gave that BMW a little tap.
Was this late in the race? Yeah, there was obviously a bit of contact there which upset that BMW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not somewhere Martin's gonna lose the car
No,
on his own without contact.
it's a pity that for Martin, but that's definitely race ending. I mean, he must have spun around 10 times there. So
Yeah, massive frontal impact as well. So the steering and everything on that car is gonna be useless.
I guess the stewards are going to be a little bit busy tonight and tomorrow again.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll probably have a look at that.
Unfortunately. Let's go
Yep.
back here to Morgan and see at times. So Ryan,
48.1.
Ryan did a 48.6 and Morgan a
crossing the line.
48.1. Well, now it would be
It's gonna take a
48.1,
while.
I think, is his lap time there.
Okay, still taking off a second a lap
Per
out
lap,
of
yeah.
Ryan. So he's got 5 laps left. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
Gonna be close.
If
I
Ryan
think
makes a mistake or two, then Morgan's gonna be right there coming into the race.
it's actually so refreshing to see these tight battles here at the the front end of the pack, because often we see the first three drivers just pull away from the pack and you see these massive gaps between them. So it's quite nice tonight to actually see the front guys having a good battle with each other there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually see at the front now, having said that Mac van der Merwe is now within a second of Mr. Forsking. So he's sort of in that window now where he's also now going to start getting the benefit of the slipstream.
The
So
draft, yeah.
I would expect to see him now close that gap. And with 5 minutes to go, this can get very interesting.
I think this is going to get interesting, and let's hope it just stays interesting and doesn't end like it did for Martin.
Yeah, and you can see Forskank already starting to feel the pressure. So on the run down to Parabolica, they're just moving around on the straight, just trying to break that slipstream.
Yeah.
So he's very well aware of where Mac is and that Mac is coming.
Mac representing KSR, Kinetic Sim Racing, Vibe Squad here. And Forskank representing PWSR, that's Patterson Works Sim Racing, Bravo.
Yep, and KSR Vibe, of course, in the fight for first place in the Teams Championship. So any extra points Mac can get here is definitely going to help their cause. Especially with Gideon Renner, the second KSR Vibe car, now in 19th and in the pits. So it doesn't look like he's going to finish the race, unfortunately.
Yes. Renner had a bit of a tough race this evening as well. See, we have lost some cars in the race. I think we had the grid at 23 cars. We're down to 19 at the moment.
Yeah, we definitely lost. We lost Alan Patterson. I've seen him comment here on Discord. Not quite sure. I think Martin Wrightenbach would probably be the other one. Yeah, I don't see Martin's name. So indeed, that shunt race ending for Martin. So we see Forskank now again 1.1 seconds ahead of
pulling a bit of a gap there now.
Yeah, the boys trading blows. But what can also happen with Mac now is as you start getting closer, you start sort of believing a bit more, and you can actually start overdriving the car. So Mac just needs to relax and just do what he's been doing up until now to actually catch Forskank. He's been doing a great job, and if you start overdriving now, you're just gonna start losing time again.
Yeah, I can using the back there a little bit. I can definitely attest to what you've just mentioned there. Bago, even in myself, I often tend to do that where I can see the guy in front of me. You can see you getting closer, and you say, you know, and it's like, okay, I need to just push that a little bit harder, especially when it's at this late stage of the race. And you're 100% correct in saying that, you know, you tend to start overdriving the car and just instead of just doing what you've done for the last, you know, 20 laps type of thing. So yeah, it's a real thing that, and I guess that's what makes motorsport so interesting, you know, and it's the psychological element to it as well, not just this physical, you know, kind of thing like in certain sports where it's, you know, very physical and whatever. Motorsport very much a psychological game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's about pressure and transferring pressure, I think. And you know, Mac was applying the pressure on Volskink by just chipping away at that gap. And as he starts getting closer, and I'm not saying that, well, I mean, it does look like that's what's happening as we see him run wide there. But as you start getting closer, the natural thing to do is, as you say, you want to start pushing more, and then you start actually transferring that pressure back onto yourself. Which is obviously not what you want to do. You just want to keep the pressure on the guy that you're chasing. So just keep chipping away. And with every small mistake that he makes, you know, the pressure on him is going to start getting more and more and more. And before you know it, you're going to be in a fight for the lead. But if you start transferring that pressure back into yourself, you can very quickly take yourself out of the equation.
Yeah. And I mean, something that, you know, I've never been in the position to be battling for a podium position myself, but if I had to put myself in that position, you know, I think the other thing that for me as a driver, you know, be that, you know,
Right, man.
am I willing to settle for, you know, just let me rather settle for second and finish the race, you know, than binning this bloody car now, trying to catch this guy in front and throwing it away. I think that's also something that often plays on the guys' minds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't win a championship, 8-race championship in one race, you know. So maximize your result, and if that means that second is the best you can do, then so be it. Then you make sure you get that second, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. As we are in the final lap with our race leader, you have your Volskink, followed by Mac van der Merwe, and then we've got a little bit down the road, about 10 seconds behind. Then we've got Ryan Ottens in P3. I think Ryan will hold his third position there. I see the gap is about 2 seconds between him and Morgan. But, you know, as we're watching this final lap here, Bago, my driver of the day, it has to be Morgan McCall. I don't know how you feel about that.
Definitely. You know, sort of, he was driving brilliantly right at the start, himself and Volskink.
Yes.
And who was the KSR opposite? It was Mac, I think. The
Yes.
three of them were having a great race up front, and then obviously
There was a little bit of a contact
Morgan,
there.
unfortunate contact, and then got sent way down the field. But what a comeback drive! It's been brilliant to watch, and he's put on a good show.
All right. This is you're coming down the last time down the straight here into the Parabolica area.
Yeah, good drive from Yeve as well. He's done nothing wrong today. In those opening exchanges, his car positioning was brilliant. He did everything he needed to do, keep Morgan behind him for as long as possible, and you know, once he got into the lead, he hasn't looked back.
Yeah. Right, and that's our winner.
The leader
We
has
have
finished the
Volskink,
race.
Mac van der Merwe in second as we go to Ryan Ottens, also going through Parabolica at the moment.
Yep,
And there's
good result
Morgan
for
right
Ryan.
behind him. Just not long enough this race for Morgan to be in the
Tell you
hunt.
what, if we had another 2 laps,
Yeah, we would have had a race on our hands.
yeah, brilliant stuff from Morgan. Great recovery
Really well.
drive.
Good drive there, Morgan. Bigger pardon. And then we've got Kurt Klashagen here in fifth. Good drive from Kurt as well, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, very
He's
good
also
drive.
quite down the pack in the mid pack, and yeah, very strong finish there by Kurt Klashagen.
Yeah, great result for him to grab a top 5 finish there. And then Justin Lotus, unfortunate with the contact he was involved in as well, was running strong, but still 6th place, not that bad. And then Christos Santos coming home in 7th, and Jason McGregor, after being sort of on the fringes of the top 15 for most of the race, getting into 8th place. That's a good result as well. Then Conrad Volskink in 9th. And Mr. Nice Guy, Ansi Mayberg, rounding out our top 10. Tinus Botha, well, I don't think he's too impressed with that McLaren. In 11th place. And then Dane Stewart in the 2nd Lamborghini, 12th, and Jean Leroux in the McLaren 13th. Jason Luck seems to be running the Ukraine colors there in his Porsche. 14th, Daniel de Villiers. Oh, it's unfortunate. After that contact with Martin Rothenbach, I see he's in the pits. Not quite sure if that's where he's going to finish 15th, because I see he doesn't have the checkered flag. I'm assuming so. Then Dean Kabasa 16th, Mr. Ngube 17th, Gideon Renner also had a good strong run initially, but unfortunately for him down in 18th. So good results for our championship contenders. So Mac Vanamara, I think, will jump a couple of places in the drivers' championship, and strong result for KSR Vibe from him. Then Ryan Ottens, I think, consolidates his position in the drivers' championship, and decent result from from Jason McGregor as well. So good result for the hybrid guys. I think they might even, yeah, they definitely will actually grow their lead a bit in the team championship. So good result for them.
Stuff. So, Bago, we're going to just break for a quick breakaway, and then hopefully we've asked the guys to come through for some interviews in the post race. So if you will just hang around for us, and then viewers stick around, and we're going to interview our 3 podium drivers if they're available for us. So yeah, we'll be back soon.
Ek kan hulle intrek, hulle is hier. Okay.
Viewers, just bear with us. We're trying to see if we can get the podium drivers into the view room here, get some of their thoughts. So if you just bear with us on this. All right, so for the viewers, we have our podium drivers here with us in the booth, and yeah, we're going to give them each an opportunity to tell us how their race went. I think what I do want to say, just from the word goes, to the three of you, excellent race, guys. It was really entertaining. We had battles up and down, but I mean, like Bago and I basically mentioned tonight, it was quite refreshing to actually see some really, really tight battles at the front end of the race this evening. So yeah, I think that it was exciting for the viewers as well as for us. So yeah, Bago, I don't know if you want to just take over from an interview perspective with the actual drivers themselves. We'll kick off with our winner. Yeah, I think it is. So our winner being Javier. You can go ahead there, Bago.
Oh, thank you very much, Javier. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a tough race. I think the initial start for me was obviously key. I knew I had, to make a move early on. Otherwise, Morgs might pull away. So I think that first few laps was quite entertaining for the rest. It wasn't as entertaining for me because it was quite tight and that Merc was so quick down the straights. I had to be on the defensive line the whole time. And I think that obviously, opened up the door for the other guys behind us to just creep in.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was great to watch though, and good racing from yourself and Morgan there. And we commented on it on stream that your car positioning was really very, very good throughout that whole opening sort of salvo with Morgan. Pressure. You felt the pressure there?
Yes, pressure was the pressure of Morgan was okay, but it was actually more towards the end with Mac, because I think with Morgan we were so much slower because we were fighting and defending the whole time. But the last, let's say, 30 minutes were flat out and just trading laps with Mac, and then seeing him creep up a little bit, and then I make a mistake or he makes a small mistake, and it's just trading laps. So that last 30 minutes was tough. It was a lot of pressure there because one mistake and that's your win gone.
Yeah, absolutely, and it certainly echoes what we were talking about. But thanks so much for entertaining us tonight. It was great to watch, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much, guys.
Great stuff. Thanks, Javier. All right. So our man in second place, Mac. How did the race go for you? You want to walk us through the first couple of laps there, maybe, and how it was for you?
Now, first of all, I just want to apologize to Morgan. I gave him a little bit of a tap there, I think, in lap 4, unintentionally, and I spun him around. So I kind of feel really bad for him because he and Javier had an insane battle there at the start. I was in prime position to look or to watch what's going on. But yeah, unfortunately, I made contact. It was my fault. So yeah, I don't know what penalty I'm gonna get. So that depends if I'm gonna keep the podium. But yeah, nonetheless, it was very fun. At the start, watching them battle, it was quite clean and entertaining racing. I had this one chance somewhere. I think after the second chicane, I got past Morgan, and then Javier defended pretty well. I couldn't get past him, and then I lost the rear in the second race, man. Morgan got past again, and they were at it again, side by side. But yeah, then I unfortunately tapped Morgan. But yeah, from there, I was just, like Javier said, we were just trading lap times. I was creeping up a little bit, but yeah, I wasn't quite quick enough to catch him. He was quite consistent and so on. And yeah, for the rest of the race, we were just trading lap times. A 10th here, 10th there. But yeah, it was quite entertaining. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Good stuff, Mac. Yeah, look, yeah, I mean, I always say I don't think ever there's any driver on especially in this league, in the Raceface league, I don't think there is ever a driver that makes contact intentionally.
Yes.
It is racing. This type of stuff is going to happen, and I guess if it is reported, the stewards will have a look at it.
Yeah,
it will be dealt with in a fair manner. But I mean, going beyond that, Bago and I were looking and we were just seeing you getting closer to Javier all the time, and at times you were taking 8/10 a lap out of Javier. So we were sitting and rubbing our hands. If you go watch the stream again tonight, you'll see we were rubbing our hands and saying, "Oh, this is going to get nice and juicy towards the end," But at the end, Javier managed to keep it together and not make any mistakes. Both a great drive from both of you. But well done on that P2. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate it. I just also want to say well done to Ryan on the podium. Well done to Javier on the win. And then Morgan coming back through the field. That was pretty impressive. I saw him on the Delta the whole time moving up in the field. So yeah, he also did a pretty decent job.
Right,
Thanks.
and then Johann, we've got Ryan in P3. You want to take that one for us, Johann?
Yeah, Ryan, welcome. Out of our podium finishes, probably the only guy that had a bit of a boring race, I think. How was that one for you?
Yeah, pretty boring. I mean, I got to just pretty much watch the races on the Deltas. Coming into this, I had no hopes of a podium, to be fair. Other people's misfortune allowed it, so looks like I need to do some more practice and come back stronger.
Yeah, well, I mean, you managed to get that podium in the end, and strong result for you as well in terms of the championship, extending your lead at the front, and a good result as well for your team with yourself and Jason both finishing in the top 10. So a good night out, you'd say.
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, McCall was hunting me down big time at the end there, kept me under pressure till the end. But yeah, well done to Fullskink and Mac in the front here. They were hauling. Those BMs were gone. I only saw the rear of them. So yeah, well done to those guys.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and I think just to loop it back again to Morgan, Bago and I made the comment. We think Morgan was definitely driver of that was a sublime comeback drive he made there. He was down in 14th place, I think it was after that incident, and he was really close to you at the getting close to you there, Ryan. I think another 2 or 3 laps in this race, and you would have had a Merc right behind you.
I think only one more lap, to be fair. I had Daniel Erasmus in my ear. I was asking him to calculate how many laps were left. We were looking at it, and he was really coming. And the scary thing is he was that fast.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I watched Justin Lotus go right into the side of him after he had spun. And I knew, I was like, he's got a lot of damage, and he's that fast. So just a bit of a wake-up call for all of us for tomorrow. I think we know what to expect from him.
Definitely. No, looking forward to tomorrow night's race. Then, yeah, again, just finalize Yevia, congratulations on the win there. Mac, very well done on the P2, and Ryan, superb drive for a P3 there as well. Congratulations to all 3 of you guys. We'll see you guys next week again.
Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, for the
Thank
sprint.
you.
Next week for the sprint race.
See, true that. All right.
Alrighty. Cool, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a
you,
lot.
guys. Thanks for doing this.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, gents.
Okay, Bago. Yeah, thank you very much for sitting with me in the comm booth here again tonight. I do appreciate the company, Bagos. Thank you so much. As I said, the stats master. I can see you do your homework before you come into these races, because you know what's happening in the championships, who's where, and that. You're really setting a good example for me. Although I'm the guy that always does my homework the morning before school starts and things like that. So I'm gonna always lean on you to take that lead for us. But again, yeah, thank you and superb job there, Bago, in terms of commentary. And I think the viewers will know that. We hope to see all of our viewers again next week. Anything from your side, Bago?
Yeah, just a big thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the playing director and giving us the visuals. And thanks for everybody that was watching, and I think special thanks to everybody that raced tonight for putting on a hell of a show. And we shall see you guys next week.
Great. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, if you're still on the stream, please remember that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, do that. If you haven't subscribed, please do that for us as well. We do appreciate it.